Hello and welcome back to another transfer video, all things regarding Aston Villa. This is Aston Villa from the stands. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, my favourite thing, get in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on the topics of today's videos, because Villa, it looks like we're going to have a busy window. Some people are telling me, no, Josh, we're not going to sign anyone. It's going to be very limited. It's going to be a very difficult window. And the other end of me is looking at this going, I think we're going to be busy. And quite clearly, there is a position that Unai Emery and Monchi are already targeting, which is going to be very clear in this video. As Aston Villa, yesterday we talked about the likes of Louis Barry going to be sold to a top championship side, but also those rumours of Kolo Muani from PSG. And if you haven't been able to see that, then you can watch that video at the end of this one. But to be sure, then, Aston Villa seem very keen to be in the market for what I would call a versatile forward. A striker, a winger, someone who can play across our front line is essentially what Unai Emery is targeting. And it becomes more and more apparent that it is probably someone who can fill and do a job out wide. And that is something that, as Villa fans, we've been crying out for. Because with the likes of where Leon Bailey has been solely been asked to carry the side and has been nowhere near the vein of form that he was of last year, Jacob Ramsey getting injured. I've had the likes of Morgan Rogers having to go and do a job out wide. And really, it has been a very disappointing return from our wide men this season. So without further ado, let's get into the main scope of today's transfer news. And that, of course, is this first story that I'm going to share with you now. And that comes all the way from Mr. David Ornstein, which you should see on your screen right now. And the story is Aston Villa in talks with Borussia Dortmund to sign Donyell Malen. Offer for 25-year-old Dutch international is 18 million plus add-ons, but that was below Borussia Dortmund's valuation. But negotiations continue as Aston Villa seek to strengthen the squad with a versatile attacker. There are also other options too. So two-part really for me on that one. That last sentence, other options too. Villa are fishing around now. It is so clear we are fishing around for a wide forward. And as I said, we talked about Kolo Muani yesterday. Today we're talking about Donyell Malen. So I want to explore and have a look a little bit further about why do you think we may be going for Donyell Marlon? What is it about him that is quite an attractive approach for us? And quickly going back to the fees then, 18 million plus add-ons. The idea of add-ons is always something that I like, where we can try and get a lower price, a lower value for a player and add on these different fees, whether we win a trophy, whether it's if he makes X amount of appearances, whether he goes on to score X amount of goals, we would owe Dortmund more. But it seems that at 25 years old, this is another striker, another forward that we should really be looking into. And I want to know exactly if anyone has watched a bit of Borussia Dortmund, or if there are Dortmund fans out there, what your take has been on Donyell Malen. Another thing, what I remember of him is that he was a key part of the Dutch team that played in Euro 2024, leading that line, and someone that is a regular in their squad. So he is an international player. He has plenty of Champions League experience, plenty of experience, obviously, in the Bundesliga. But I then had a look at his stats for this season. And this is going to be an interesting one for you guys. And again, taking your stats and what you see with Donyell Malen, you can see that he was obviously got a contract expiring in the end of next summer, 2026. So he's got basically a year and a half left on his contract, which is why it's quite interesting the price that we're going for. And as you can see here, the position that he's being listed as is a right winger. And when you look at his stats this season, he has predominantly featured out on that right wing. So if we just pause there for a second and you go, right, we're actually targeting a right winger. We're targeting someone on that right-hand side because Leon Bailey has absolutely underperformed this season. There's no one who can tell me that Bailey has been up to scratch. Too many people are going, oh, Bailey just needs that goal and get better. No offense, but we've already had half the season and we still haven't had that performance yet from Leon Bailey. How long are we going to give this guy until we sort of go, do you know what? Yeah, it's fine. Was last season a one-hit wonder from Leon Bailey? That's what we have to start asking ourselves. So Donyell Malen, okay, what else is it that he could do or give? Well, first of all, I think he's a lot better strength and a lot better backup, or even a starter for competition. We talk about the Moussa Diaby factor, and I want us to remember that. We believe that the reason why Leon Bailey was so good last season was because he had competition with Moussa Diaby. So Donyell Malen automatically could raise Leon Bailey's game as a first and foremost. Second of all, again, with Donyell Malen, we are looking at experienced player. Now, if we go to his stats this season, he's had 13 games, 3 goals. and only 600 minutes. And I looked at that and thought 13 games, 3 goals, no assists. Whereas last season, if I just go to his last season stats, just to remind you, because we want to look at the whole package of a player. Donyell Malen last season had 13 goals, 3 assists in 27 games. So a lot better returns there. So not too bad of a last season there. But it was this one, again, for me, where we're going to focus on why Dortmund are keen to get rid of a wide player with basically a year and a half left in his contract. Why would Borussia Dortmund be happy to get rid of a player like that? What is the red herring here? You've always got to try and look at the red herring. Well, I thought, 13 games, how many of these are starts? Okay, how many of these are starts? And you can see the statistic here. The starts that Donyell Marlon had last season, and I'll just highlight it for you on the screen, is that he's only been in the starting 11 6 times. Okay, 6 times. So I'm looking at that and going, game time is lacking for someone. Game time is lacking. And you can see here, even up to recently, okay, 64 minutes, 32, 16. Last time he had a full 90 was a 4-0 win against Freiburg in November. So he again isn't exactly starting week in, week out for Dortmund. So I go back to that. Are we signing a player, again, that isn't quite good enough for Borussia Dortmund, clearly isn't doing enough to start enough games for them? 6 starts isn't exactly jumping for joy. Is this a move, once again, that on paper we're going to get excited about, but in reality, it could be a disaster? And the only reason I say that is because we have to look at where we're going as a football club and the standards that we're having. If he's not good enough to start for Borussia Dortmund, why are we looking at him? That would be the reflective and negative side of the coin that I'm trying to talk about. However, he is an international player for the Netherlands. He is someone who's played in the Bundesliga now for 3 seasons or so. He's also, again, Champions League experience, which is something we're craving for. And he's a position that we need. Now, I ask you this question, Villa fans and neutrals. Is Donyell Malen a better prospect than Jaden Philogene? Because that's where our next story is going to go in a second. Because Jaden Philogene seems to be the only other backup winger that we have available. So I believe that the gamble on Donyell Malen, if the price is right, and I don't want to spend more than 25 million on this guy, then potentially it is worth taking him on. At 25 years old, with his experience, got an eye for goal, can give competition to Leon Bailey, then why not? But I do believe there's better out there. I actually want us to find a winger who will start week in, week out. This guy is powerful. He's explosive. He's a strong runner. He's got a lot of pace. He likes to take a man on. Something we're crying out for. But there's just something telling me he's not the piece of the jigsaw that we need. And the second point I want to probably make is, why did Villa not see this in the summer when we got rid of Moussa Diaby? Why is it that it's taken us so long to realise that we were really lacking a wide player? And I think it goes to the next point here. The reason why we've been so blindsided is basically we thought this guy was going to be the answer. We thought this guy was going to be the answer, Jaden Philogene. As it says here, Ipswich Town are interested in signing Jaden Philogene on loan. This comes from Darnesh, now from Sky Sports. Now, I'm not exactly saying he's a credible source, but obviously within that industry, Sky can be a bit slow. But I'm interested in the idea of him going on loan again, but to a Premier League side. What is that telling us? It just stinks again for me. It seems poor business that we're loaning Jaden out to another Premier League side. Why did we gamble on him then? If we loaned him out for whole, sold him, then we bought him back, re-signed him, and now we're going to ship him out. We all know that Jaden Philogene is not good enough for Aston Villa at the moment. He hasn't shown us any performances. He's not got us jumping for joy. And again, the stats can sort of show it here, that I'm going to show you that Jaden Philogene's season has been nothing but, again, a disappointment. And the one thing I'd again say about Jaden Philogene in the Premier League, he's had 11 appearances, no goals, no assists, and only 2 starts. And the only start that he really took account of, or the 2 starts that he had, that he started against Bayern Munich and he started against Manchester United. 2 games in which we did not lose. But it's that thing there, no goals, no assists from a winger, and only 2 starts. And I go back to that again, really. I go back to that again. I think Aston Villa now, when we look at our summer transfer window, absolutely messed up because we should be comfortable in that top four. We should be where Nottingham Forest are right now. We should be there, but our squad depth has let us down this season 100%. And that is why we're in this predicament. So Jaden Philogene, again, going out on loan to a Premier League side, I can only imagine that we're loaning him out to sell him. No way would we loan Jaden out to then keep him for the next summer to hope he's had more experience. And the worst thing, what happens if we send him out on loan and he still can't start a game of football? It's a baffling one. It's an interesting one. But because he had that amazing goal and got himself for the Puskas nominations and all that hype there, the limelight and people believe that this guy is a top player. I don't see it personally. I think we have to cash in, get rid. So, look, Villa, very, very much interested in signing a wide forward. If we're getting rid of Philogene, we're definitely bringing someone else in. There's no point hoarding Philogene now. And hopefully, Donyell Malen, if we've done our research, is he the right one or is there better? One final story to really have a look at Aston Villa and another piece of news is that Lewis Dobbin, if you remember him, part of the Everton farce where we basically signed him out of nowhere to comply and break the PSR rules, is that he is going out on loan again. We're recalling him from the Baggies. He's been absolutely poisoned by the Baggies. He's coming back and we're going to loan him out to Norwich, where he's had past experience before. But what made me laugh is I looked at Lewis Dobbin's stats in the Championship. 24-25 season, you can see it there. 17 matches, 0 goals, 0 assists for the Baggies. What the hell has Lewis Dobbin been doing? I haven't watched a single moment of him. If you have watched a bit of Lewis Dobbin, do let me know. But again, it just epitomizes how we got that transfer window wrong. I was blinded by a transfer window in the summer. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was amazing. But the more I look at it, it was a disaster class. Losing Dougie and Musa and not upgrading correctly. So that is the transfer news today. Aston Villa have had an offer rejected for Donyell Marlon, and we are looking to sign a wide forward. And Jaden Philogene will be moving out on loan, it seems. We've sort of given up with him. We wanted him to go and try and find some Premier League experience where he starts games, not in any lower division. If you have enjoyed this video, then there'll be a video on your screen which you can watch, which is yesterday's transfer news about Louis Barry and Kolo Muani. Get in the comments, smash the like, subscribe. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Ta-da!